You still want to get out of a bad cycle? Well, something else you must be willing to do is realign your priorities. I'm like, let me tell you something. If you want to get out of something, you need to be intentional about getting out of it. You need to make a plan. It might not be as specific, but then again, it's a plan. It's a starting point. You need to have a plan. You get? You need to set your priorities straight. Sometimes your bad cycle is the location you go to. Sometimes your bad cycle, it's the friends you have. Sometimes your bad cycles, it's highly influenced by the things you're watching on your phone or on TV or on, listening to wherever, whichever device you're using. Sometimes that is your bad cycle. So if you want to get out of that bad cycle, sometimes the best that you can do is realign your priorities. What do I want to watch? And you don't have to go all radical, because it might be a struggle for some people, like to stop listening to some kind of music and to switch to other kind of music. But then again, you need to make a plan and be smart about your plan. This is the kind of vibe I like. So how can I get this vibe but different content? That worked for me. How can I watch the same kind of movies and shows that I love to watch, but then how can I be intentional with what I'm consuming in terms of content I'm watching, or the content that I'm watching? What does this content do to me? How does the content make me feel? How does the content influence how I think, how I look at life, how I look at relationships, how I look at my marriage, how I look at myself, how I view my strengths and my weaknesses? How do the things I'm watching, do they empower me or do they take from me? Do I always feel like I'm drained, or do I feel like I'm gaining and I'm amped up and I'm getting just some, good energy, and I feel motivated to keep pressing on when it comes to this thing called life? So sometimes you need to prioritize the intention you have to do better and to change. You need to make yourself a priority, and sometimes that means you'll have to stay away from some of your friends, some of your circles, some of the locations you go to. If you are intentional about changing, you'll have to you have to figure out a plan and tell yourself, yes, I know on this day I always go to XYZ, but it's not good for me. So on that day, I'm going to schedule something else that can help me do better, get out of that, and become better. So you just make yourself a priority other than thinking about what everyone else will think and feel. Well, sometimes I think our bad cycles, it's just the people we allow into our lives, the people we allow to influence us, the voices we allow into our heads, the voices we allow to speak to us. That is sometimes the bad cycle that we're talking about. So I do hope that even for you, you'll make yourself a priority and make your change a priority and make the transformation you want to see a priority, and make the version of you that you want to see, that you can see in your head, that you can become, make it a reality. So, you gotta set some priorities straight. Nowadays, for me, number one priority, it's please God. Do what God is calling you to do. He'll align everything else. Always pursue purpose. Always remember the mandate God has given you. Don't just do things because everyone else is doing, but do things because God has told you to do X, Y, Z. So there is that. So make sure you have your priorities set straight. Where are you at? Why you're going? What you're doing? Who you're doing it with? Just get your priorities straight. But yes,